Time for lunch. Be our guest. Our last meal at Disney. Heartbreaking times. In we go.
Stay behind them.
Smells so nice.
These names are giving me life. The macaroni Maurice, Fils de la Beast, Mrs. Fox's platter, Chips Delight. Why are the adult ones not named cool things? You don't have 100 million countries, so you have to order it on the screen. Touch the screen to start. We're going to have a magic band, streaming guest information. How many people are you ordering for? Two. So, we would like, let's show the details. Would you like it with fries?
No, I'd like green beans. I'm joking.
Oh, I thought you were being serious.
No, I want chips.
So we've got 2 pommes frites. Select a beverage. I'm going to have adult cold fountain beverage. Amber is going to, would you like a, or a bottle?
Yeah, but
A bottle of water. And then for a dessert, I'm going to have, well, that is what I had the other day. Oh, I don't care. And Amber's going to have a lemon meringue cupcake. There we go. Place order. And then out of here, there should be a receipt.
amazing.
That's so clever. Oh, something's coming. Woohoo! Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Merci. All good. So we have 0 quick service credits remaining. We are done.
We're going to see if we can eat in the West Wing, because we've not eaten in there yet, which is exciting. It's stunning in here.
It's magic.
Yeah, we're enchanted.
I thought you were. Magic. Thank you very much. Wow.
Lemon meringue,
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
the triple chocolate,
Thank you.
and 1 bottle of water.
Sweet. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow.
Magic to keep out of the rain for a minute. So I haven't vlogged in about 40 minutes because we came out of Magic and had a text on my phone from Virgin saying, sorry to advise you, but your flights will not be taking off until 12:30 at night, so half midnight, and our original flight time was like 7:30, so we're 5 hours delayed, which is really the last thing you want when you're trying to get home from 2 weeks in America and you know you've got a 9-hour flight. So we're not very happy. It's a little bit stressful and a little bit like worrying because it's not like it's an EasyJet flight from Spain or something and it's 2 hours on the plane. It's a long flight and we're not really sure what happens because we were supposed to leave in just about an hour really to get the Magic Express, to go back to our hotel to get the Magic Express to the airport, but the text said you need to check in 2 to 3 hours before, so we need to confirm that that means 2 to 3 hours before 12:30, so we need to find out if we can get a later Magic Express. I mean, it's a nice thing that we can stay longer, but at the same time, it's, you know, you're just like, I just want it to be normal and go home, and it's a bit of a, we haven't been in this situation, well, I haven't been in this situation before without a family member just sort it all out for me, so we don't really know what's going to happen. We're just in the Rapunzel area charging my phone because it's was going to die, and then we're going to go to guest relations and see if they can help us because we don't really know what's happening. But yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. Not the best situation, but what can we do? Literally can't do anything about it, so we'll see what's going to happen.
Our Disney Festival of Fantasy Parade. But first, please welcome our honorary Grand Marshals.
Things definitely haven't gone how I planned them to. There's no goodbye shot of the castle, there's no me saying goodbye to Magic Kingdom, there's just a quite upset Ellie that's quite stressed and not very happy saying goodbye to you guys because our plane's 5 hours delayed and Disney won't put us on a later bus, so we have to get the same bus to the airport, which means we're going to be sitting at the airport for 5 hours and we can't stay at Disney any longer. They just won't put us on a bus, so it means all the time trying to sort this out has been spent. We've been spent trying to speak to guest relations and stuff, and they won't do anything. So it doesn't end on a very good note, but this is the end of the Disney World vlogs. I'm not going to even bother vlogging the attempt to get home because I'm too upset, to be honest. I'm just really unhappy because we're going home now and it's all turned into a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed the Disney World vlogs. Thank you so much for watching them. It's been really special to be here, really magical, and I'm very sad that it's time to go home. But it is, I don't know what to say really. I'm sorry it ended not how I wanted them to, but that's how life goes. And we've had a really, really special, really magical trip. Thank you, Amber, for coming with me and for being so supportive and just the best friend I could have had. And thank you guys for watching the vlogs. I'm sorry it's ended this way. I feel like it's really, really awful, but what can I do? I've got to try and get myself home and spend 5 hours sitting at the airport with nothing to do. So thank you again, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.
Obviously quite a while ago since I was standing in the Magic Kingdom talking to you all by a bin, crying, quite upset. I thought I definitely needed to film something to go on to the end of this vlog so you could kind of understand a bit more what happened, because it didn't really make much sense from watching it back and it was all a bit of a crazy blur that was obviously very emotional as well and stressful and not a great experience, and I wanted to be honest about what happened. So I'll explain first what happened and then I'll talk to you a bit more about other stuff at the end. So that day we woke up to come home. Obviously emotions were high anyway. We're very, very tired because we've been there for 2 weeks, and as you'd seen we were kind of on the go most of the time. It's a very tiring holiday and I was obviously very sad anyway to be coming home. As we were in our room kind of getting ready to leave, I received a message from one of my friend's mums who works for Virgin saying that the plane that was going to be bringing us home from Orlando back to London hadn't actually left London yet to get to Orlando. So she texted me to basically say, just to let you know, it's very, very likely you're going to be delayed. But we didn't really think about it too much as the day went on because obviously there was so much happening and we were just trying to enjoy the last few hours we had at the Magic Kingdom. We checked out perfectly, everything was fine. We got to the park, we did our fast passes, we had our lunch. It was all obviously still very sad and heartbreaking. And then we walked over to do Fila Magique. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. When we came out of there, I had a text from Virgin that simply said, "We're sorry to advise that your plane will be at least 5 hours delayed. Your new estimated flight departure time is 12:30 AM, so half past midnight. Our original flight time was 7:30 PM. They also said to check in 2-3 hours before the flight. We then had to go and sit in the tangled area to charge my phone because it was very quickly dying. I rang my dad and he calmed me down and kind of talked me through the situation and what would happen. Disney has a Magical Express service which takes you to and from the airport if you were staying in a Disney hotel. We were booked onto this service even though we didn't book our flights with Disney. As long as you're staying in a Disney hotel, you can be booked onto their Magical Express. So we had an original Magical Express shuttle time of I think 4 o'clock. That was the time we were originally supposed to get on the bus from Caribbean Beach, our hotel, to take us to the Orlando airport. Obviously we didn't really want to get that bus because it's about a half an hour drive to the airport. Leaving at 4 o'clock meant we'd be at the airport at 4:30 and our plane wasn't going anywhere till 12:30, so that would mean 8 hours of sitting at an airport before leaving. I've never used the Magical Express shuttle to go home before. I'd never stayed in Disney property before, but I know that their buses are very frequent and they do run a really good service, and I've known of people before that haven't actually booked themselves on the Magical Express but have turned up, proved that they were staying with Disney and used it. So I thought we'll go to guest relations and speak to them and they'll be able to help us out. We queued in guest relations for about 10 minutes and then we were served by an English cast member, but sadly this cast member gave me the impression that he was not having a good day maybe, or he wasn't in a good mood, and he wasn't going to give us that kind of service you'd expect. Saved and paid a lot of money to be at Disney, you kind of expect to be treated well. I expect that anywhere, whether it's in Primark or Debenhams or KFC or Selfridges. I have worked in customer services in a variety of jobs, so I know what it's like to do that job, and I do appreciate that you should always give the best service. I explained the situation to him and he simply said, "That's not my problem." And I was like, oh, okay. And he simply said, if you don't get on the bus at sort of 4 o'clock, you can make your own way to the airport, you can pay for your own taxi, and he said that he guessed it would be around $80. Now myself and Amber both said like we didn't want to pay $80 to go to the airport, and that Disney, part of their service was that they provide you with transportation to the airport. He was very adamant that there was nothing he was going to do until I asked if he could speak to a manager or a supervisor or speak to someone at my hotel to ask them if they could change our bus time. He then went away for about 15 minutes and came back and said that he'd spoken to his manager, he'd spoken to the Bell Services department at our hotel that deals with luggage and the Magical Express, and that there was no bus later than the 4 o'clock bus that we were getting on. He told us that if we didn't get the 4 o'clock bus, there was not a bus after that one that we could get on. By the time this conversation had happened, we had to leave the park because we had to make our way back to the hotel to get on this bus that we were told was the only bus that could take us to the airport. We were both really angry and I was very, very upset, and it did mean that we went straight from sitting in the Rapunzel area charging our phones to having this conversation with this cast member and then having to leave straight away. We didn't get to do any of the nice things you get to do when you leave the park. We had intended to kind of slowly walk down Main Street, take pictures, say goodbye to the castle, but instead it all happened in a very rushed, stressed and upsetting manner. We got back to the hotel and the cast member at Bell Services basically said, "Are you okay? You don't look very happy." He was like, "Is it because you're going home?" And I said, "Well, yes, but also our flight's been delayed." And then he said, "Oh, is it the Virgin flight back to London?" So I said, "Yes." And then he said, "Oh, when's your bus?" And I said, "Oh, it's this one that had just pulled into the hotel." And he said, "Well, you don't want to get on this bus because that's going to get you there 8 hours early." So I then explained to him everything that had previously happened, and he said that no one had called him, and he was the manager of Bell Services. Nobody had spoken to anyone at our hotel to ask us about changing bus times. He then said of course we could go on a later bus, and he booked us on a new bus which I think was between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. Within 3 minutes of talking to this man at the hotel, he'd solved our problem and been so kind and helpful and just instantly sorted it and said it was no problem at all, and that it was something that Disney would always do for you. I was just completely relieved because it meant we didn't have to go and sit at the airport for 8 hours. We then ended up just sitting in the sun for about 4.5 hours chilling. I was also very frustrated still that the cast member we'd spoken to in the Magic Kingdom in guest relations wasn't helpful, or maybe hadn't necessarily been telling the truth or hadn't done what he could have done. I just wanted to properly explain it, and I didn't want to sugarcoat it and sort of pretend it never happened, because it did, and I was genuinely disappointed with how we were treated by Disney, but at the same time I was really appreciative of the man at our hotel who solved the problem for us. When we landed back in London the next day, a cast member from Disney customer services phoned me, and she thoroughly apologised for what had happened. We talked in detail about what had happened and the cast member and how he'd spoken to us and how he didn't do what he said he did. She was incredibly apologetic, very lovely, and just really truly a genuine person, and what you expect when you go to Disney. I should also point out that Virgin were very apologetic when it all got sorted. We did actually end up on a very old plane going home, so the plane journey wasn't great, but we did pretty much manage to sleep the whole way home. They gave us a meal voucher each at the airport, although the only thing open was Starbucks, so I think we had I had a hot chocolate and I stocked up on mints to make the use of the voucher. We did receive compensation each from Virgin of around £430, I believe, because our plane was over 5 hours delayed. In the end, I don't think we took off till about 1:15 in the morning, and if it's gonna happen, I'd much rather it happen on the way home than on the way there. I'm sorry for rambling, I just wanted to properly explain, because I don't feel like the day made any sense. I put my heart and soul into this trip for the whole time before we went, for a year and a half of planning and waiting and being excited about it, making sure to film and vlog, and just, it was insane. It was the best 2 weeks of my entire life. I couldn't have had a better time, so it's just a shame that it ended badly from a personal point of view, and also because I wanted to end these vlogs really nicely and say a massive thank you to you all for watching, because I knew that this was going to be a huge part of my life, sharing this on YouTube, and it has been for 6 months of uploading these videos. It's been really hard work doing it, but it's been the most rewarding thing in the world, getting to share this trip with you all and talk to you all about it and read your comments. It's also kind of got me on a path of being more productive, I guess is the word, with YouTube, and sticking to it and really making an effort. And my channel has kind of not, I don't like the word grown, but that's probably the best word since I've been doing them. So I just basically wanted to say a huge thank you, because it means the world, and I really hope you have enjoyed watching these vlogs. I've appreciated every single comment, message, tweet, everything. It's meant the world to me, and a massive thank you. I just love you all, and I really hope you've enjoyed them. It's kind of been my baby for a very long time, and now it's done, and there's going to be a playlist of them up forever, and I'm very excited myself to watch them back and relive the holiday. And hopefully one day, maybe next year, there will be another trip to Orlando, to Disney World happening, and maybe one day there will be more Disney World vlogs from me that we can all enjoy together. There is going to be a crazy amount more of Disney vlogs to come. I have 3 trips worth at the moment of Disneyland Paris vlogs to share with you all. I went to Paris in October last year for Halloween, where I dressed up as a certain princess. I then went in January of this year for Christmas, and I went in spring, March time. I've got a lot of Disneyland Paris vlogs to share with you all, so hopefully you'll enjoy them as well. But for now, thank you so much. It's been incredible, and I love you all, and just a massive thank you for sticking with me and for being here. It's been great, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.